All right, good morning, everyone. Let's get going here. Okay, last night's session in the U.S. markets, kind of a sideways move out to the right. You can see there utilities were the strongest on the day, maybe technology kind of following closely on the heels in the back of that, but very small moves for the most part. Not a whole lot of leadership again on the day. We're kind of just drifting around. It's unfortunate that we've seen some really big moves in asset classes as we've been talking about in the last couple sessions. Some significant moves in asset classes, but we still haven't seen a whole lot of volatility in the U.S. equities market. So we started to see it creeping in some of the other equity markets, but the U.S. equity markets have been slow to sort of give us a whole lot of volatility. So I think we're going to have to watch and see this one play out over the next couple of weeks. If you look at what happened in Asia, a little bit of a mixed evening. Everything was stronger except for Australia. Australia obviously showing a little bit of weakness on the day. Financials really leading the way on the downside there. Funnily enough, we actually got a little bit of a bounce out of some of the mining stocks today for the first time, but we saw the yen go through the 107 handle for the first time in a couple years today, which is, I think, very, very significant. We've also seen we also saw a lot of data out of China. We saw aggregate financing numbers, new loan numbers, a couple things like that that were a bit mixed. The aggregate financing numbers actually looked really soft. The new loan numbers looked like they were more or less dead in line. So I think there's definitely some there's definitely just a little bit of softness really starting to factor itself into China that we continue to see flow through in the data at the moment. All right, if we look at our chart of interest today, we've got the Eurozone productivity growth. So when you look, this is going all the way back to 1961 and look to now, and you talk about we've been talking about how Europe's just in, deep crap, and you can see there, we've literally gone into an absolute bleed with some of them intensifying, more specifically Italy really starting to get ugly. So you just don't have a whole lot of positive factors coming out of Europe at the moment. And they're obviously coming aggressively with the Eurozone with the ECB policies at the moment. But if that doesn't really start to get traction rather quickly, I think we'll start to see a real correction out of the Eurozone indices, and it could be set up for a nice opportunity for us in the next couple weeks to months. All right. No specific corporate action out on the day. We do have a whole bunch of shares that are going ex-divvy on Monday. That's Naspers at $4.54, CLI's at 80 cents, Grindrod at 13 cents, International at 115, S&T, I think it's Centula at 262. What is that? 262 S&Ts. Growth Point at 82 cents and Massmart at 146. So a lot of stocks going ex-div again over the weekend. Just keep that in mind. Could be a rush to one or two of these things today. All right, market data today. We had Japanese industrial production this morning, a little bit softer than the prior numbers. We've got Spanish CPI that comes out at our open. We've got industrial production out of the entire Eurozone today. We've got CPI harmonized out of Italy. We've got U.S. retail sales, import price index, and University of Michigan consumer confidence numbers. So not a whole lot on the data front that's really going to get things kicking. So we'll have a look at some of the maps here and see what we can come up with. All right. So just looking on the back of what we've been talking about with these commodity prices and just the real sell-off that we've had in asset classes as a whole, you can see here gold is another one that's really just sorry, my line's not showing up. Come on, buddy. Oh, don't do that to me. There we go. Okay, so we really dropped real support yesterday, and gold. In fact, we kind of dropped it a little bit. No, sorry, that's showing this morning. So we dropped support really yesterday. This morning, kind of continuing on a little bit lower. You can see Our gold shares have had a real correction in the last few sessions. Some of them actually holding up really well, things like Sibanye and that holding up incredibly well at the moment, but definitely dropping major levels there in spot gold. You can also see, we showed this one yesterday, but if we look at a 2-year in spot silver, we actually, I think, completely dropped out the bottom here yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or sorry, today. And yeah, you can see we've really dropped support there, and I think I think that this is really has a significantly higher lower target here on a drop. I mean, I think we can trade down all the way down to something along the lines of $15, and probably that's a short-term target right now in silver. So things are really looking exceptionally soft in the silver and gold market, and that really carries on over into the platinum sector as well, which is, as you can see here, obviously totally just been hammered of late. You can see we dropped real support on back in August, and we've really just been bleeding out for quite a long period of time here. So we're probably getting closer to maybe our target in platinum, but gold and silver probably has quite a long way to go to the downside. All right, let's look at BGA. So BGA has come down this morning. We've come right into support. We've maybe dropped support. Kind of depends on how you want to draw this thing. If you draw it from the wicks up here, up around closer to 65, it shows that we've maybe dropped a touch of support. But I think if you draw it from the closes here, it kind of looks like we're still holding. It's borderline, and that's why I say I think you're going to have to see this thing drop 64.50 for it to really show a breakdown below support. And if it does, I mean, we could really get a sell-off from there. We did have Standard Bank that is dropping support now. We talked about this one yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, sorry, and you can see, so we dropped that little consolidation 2 sessions ago. We also dropped what's really just been a range low from all the way back in April, and the fact that that's dropped, I think we're going to come down and test about 130 in the short term on Standard Bank. If we look at Trueworths, Trueworths obviously got an upgrade yesterday from Goldman Sachs, actually traded really poorly toward the end of the session, opened up, spiked way up to 74 level, or 74 plus, only to pull back and close just above 72. But either way, this thing's looking really interesting at the moment, potentially setting up for a nice inverse head and shoulder setup if we can push up and break through the neckline here. So just keep that in mind. That could be our sort of a level maybe above 77. You can see here that's going to be maybe where we look at a neckline for a potential breakout. You can imagine this moving up to the right from here. It would be a beautiful little inverse head and shoulder setup. So just have a look out for that. And the last one that I want to show here is Investec. Investec yesterday, this thing's been just impenetrable. All of our banks have been under pressure kind of 2 out of the last 3 days quite heavily. Some of the heaviest stocks in the market over those sessions. And you can see here Investec just totally bucking the trend, bouncing and closing above the 99 level. It actually closed up about 35 cents in the auction yesterday to put a little distance between the 99 level and the close at 99.57. So I think the target here, short-term target, is probably going to be about a quick $3 of upside to about 102, and then longer term, I think it has a significantly higher target, maybe as much as $107. So keep that in mind, or sorry, even $110. Definitely a bigger upside target here in Investec if we can hold above 99. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot.